All right, all right, all right. Welcome to day 6. So today we're drilling down into the core 4, into being. Now, yesterday when it came to body, I talked about tying your core 4 into your impossible game. Now, for me, body has been always the easiest quadrant for me to set goals in, to set targets, to break those targets down into monthly goals, weekly goals, daily activities. That's always been the easiest quadrant for me to do that in. Now, being has always been more challenging. It's always been very, very difficult for me to set a 12-month target. Who do I want to be in being a year from now? That's always been a hard thing for me to do. And I'm realizing why. In fact, I feel like I had a revelation this morning in my core 4, in my time with God, through stacking. I feel like I just was able to spend time with God, and it was just like, duh. Being is about being. It's not always about doing, it's about being. And so, in the being quadrant, I'm going to challenge you to focus on habits, not necessarily outcomes. Now, if outcomes motivate you to get involved more in your core 4 and being in connection with God, then great. But most of the men that I've talked to in Warrior have said the same thing, that being is a very, very difficult quadrant to set 12-month impossible games in. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it's more challenging to do that. So, but I am going to talk more about the habits of meditation and memoirs. Okay, so those are 2 activities, half a point for each in the being quadrant. And so, again, when it comes to core 4, we're not just giving you a checklist. We're not just giving you things to do just to give you things to do. No. In the being quadrant, this is the one I would say is the most critical when it comes to something that is important but not urgent. Your connection with God, or lack thereof, is something that you will put off and put off and put off, never think about, never talk about, just ignore. Okay? It is super important. Okay? It's another part of who you are. The power that you have access to in your relationship with God is massive. In fact, I would say it's even more powerful than the other 3. But it's the least likely for us to spend time on if we're not proactive about it. Why? Because it's not urgent. No one's going to beat you up if you don't read your Bible today, unless you're going to church, unless you know some type of religious organization. No one's going to beat you up if you don't pray. Probably no one's going to even ask about these things. Okay, and so for me, I had to get rid of the religious baggage when it came to my connection with God, because there was a whole lot of should for me attached to these spiritual disciplines, okay, of the discipline of reading my Bible and of prayer. It was such a guilt-ridden thing for me, like that I was just supposed to do this. I was supposed to have a quiet time with God every morning. That's what pastors are supposed to do. That's what good Christians are supposed to do. They're supposed to read their Bible through every year. They're supposed to spend an hour in prayer. There was just so much guilt, shame, and blame attached with these things that I just kind of gave up on them for a while. Especially when I came out of the pastor game, I just gave up on them for a while. And I realized after about 6 months of detaching, the power that I was neglecting to have access to because I wasn't carving out time for me to just be with God. Okay, that's what the being part of our core 4 is all about. It's just about being, okay? So now there are activities associated with being that we're going to challenge you to be a part of, and that is meditation and memoirs, okay? And so meditation is just like nutrition. There's a million different ways to do it, okay? I'm going to give you 2 of what I encountered as the simplest ways for me to encounter meditation. And meditation really is just my most elementary explanation of it is just slowing down, calming your mind, and just being. It's amazing what it does, the power I can tap into by doing just a simple exercise, just some simple breathing exercises, okay? So I'm going to teach you a couple that you can incorporate into your meditation part of your core 4, okay? The first one is called box breathing. Okay, and box breathing is one of the most simplest things, but it's amazing what it can do to calm your mind and give you access to power. Okay, so here's box breathing. Okay, so I would get a timer out, maybe on the phone. Maybe I've even done it where I'm in a room where I can listen and hear a clock tick. Okay, so you're going to take 5 seconds to take a breath in. You're going to hold that breath for 5 seconds. Then you're going to release that breath for 5 seconds. Hold for another 5 seconds, and then repeat the cycle. Okay, so we're going to practice this together because I want you to see what this looks like to do box breathing. Simplest thing. Ready? So that was just 2 rounds. Okay, so it takes 20 seconds a cycle. So if you do 15 cycles of that, you've done that for 5 minutes, right? It's the simplest thing, but it's just crazy to me, like that's all I can focus on. And the hardest part for me, as you notice, I even did it in the demonstration, is to slow down, to take 5 seconds to inhale. You really have to consciously slow down. You're just counting, you're just breathing. It's amazing to me what this does. It just really just to center yourself and to just calm everything down. And then I'm amazed at how much it gives me access to the voice again. Why? Because why can't I hear the voice? Because God's not talking? No, because I have so much emotion and so much thoughts and so much things pinging around my mind that meditation, or just that simple breath work, just slows me down. Okay, so that's one example. It's called box breathing. Simplest thing that you can do. Here's another method that I use. It's called the Wim Hof method, by a guy named, he's called the Iceman. He's known for meditation and for also spending a lot of time in really cold environments. And so this one is just as simple, if not more simple, than box breathing. Okay, and so there is an app associated with this where you can download, but there's a price associated with it. But you can totally do this by yourself. And you're literally just going to take in 30 deep breaths really quickly. So I won't do 30 of them because that's how much boring that to watch. But you're doing 30 of those big deep breaths in your nose and out through your mouth. And then on that 30th one, you're going to release. You're going to hold. And you're just I do this lying down before I go to bed. And you hold that for as long as you can. And then when you feel like you can't take it anymore, you're taking a huge breath and you're going to hold it for 30 seconds and then release. That is one round of Wim Hof breathing. It's 30 deep, quick breaths. Then on that 30th, when you release, you're going to hold that as long as you can, and then you're going to take in a deep breath. And I'm amazed at what this does for my mind, what this does for my body, and my ability to hold my breath. Okay, and so this is holistic. This is cleansing your mind. This is cleansing your body. This is a habit I do every night before I go to bed. I do at least one round of Wim Hof breathing. So those are two really simple deep breathing / meditation techniques that you can use that just help calm your mind and help bring you back to your connection with God. Okay, so you have meditation. Those are two simple methods. And then you also have memoirs. And memoirs is stacking. Okay, just plain and simple, it's stacking. And so that's why, as a part of my Core 4, I'm doing a stack every single day. A lot of times I'm doing a prayer stack. Right now I'm doing a 30-day streak of doing rage stacks. And it's just amazing to me the emotion that is there that I don't realize is there until I start stacking it, and I'm blown away. but the clarity that it brings. Okay, so memoirs, another great example of something that is important but not urgent. So meditation helps us get clear physically, and our memoirs helps us get clear psychologically, because we will talk more about the stack, but it is like clearing out the path. You have all this garbage that's in your way towards your connection with God, and the stack allows you to clear that path. At the end of every stack, it asks you, how did you feel going into this stack, and how do you feel now? At least it does that on the rage stack. And the word that always comes to mind is lighter. I feel lighter now. I have this weight of these emotions and the stories, and now I've been able to clear that out, and I feel lighter now. I feel clear. I feel at peace. And what is that doing? It's just bringing you back to your higher self, bringing you back. I believe that we were created to have connection. We were created to have connection. Our natural flow state is connected with our Creator, but it just gets messed up and clogged up and cluttered up by life. And what meditation and memoir does is just allows you to clean out that connection. And you're not creating the connection, you're just going back to your original divine state, which is connected with the source, connected with God, connected with the voice. And that's what this quadrant of being allows you to do. And again, it's so important, but it is not urgent. That's why we set aside time in our Core 4 to make sure that we get connected with the power source of our divine Creator through meditation and memoirs. Okay, so that's your assignment today. I want you to take one of these, or maybe do them both. Box breathing and the Wim Hof method. I want you to practice and to do one of these. Okay, 5 minutes. Set a timer on your phone and do one of these for 5 minutes. Maybe you do box breathing in the morning. Maybe you do Wim Hof method before you go to bed. But just do the breathing. And I'd love to hear your experience and what happened for you. And then I also want you to do a stack. I want you to do a prayer stack about your connection with God. Okay, so that's your homework. Breathing, exercises, and doing a prayer stack. Because this is such a critical aspect, men, of being connected to our source of power spiritually. This is not a bunch of should. This is not religious obligation. This is not guilt, shame, or blame. This is about you tapping into the ultimate source of peace, of love, of joy, which is your Creator, and accessing power unlike any other dimension that you're going to experience in your life. Okay, so that's your homework. Deep breathing and prayer stack. 3, 2, 1, off you go.